Hey everyone, the Dallas Cowboys are now 11-1. They won a close game on Thursday Night Football at US Bank Stadium in Minnesota, 17-15 against the Vikings. But this is one of these games where once again we had a team that moved the ball really well against between the 20s, but they failed to score. Talking about the Vikings. Not that they failed to score, they failed to score enough to win. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott was efficient, 12 of 18 for just 139 yards and one touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott had 20 rushes for 86 yards to lead all Cowboy rushers. The Cowboys topped just over 120, 130 yards rushing. But the Vikings outgained the Cowboys by a lot. In fact, let me make sure I get that number right because it's a somewhat significant difference of between 200. Well, first of all, 21 first downs for the Vikings versus 13 for the Cowboys. And then in terms of rushing, we had a Vikings gain of 87 versus 140 for the Cowboys. That was a big difference. But the Vikings offset that by over 100 yards more passing, 231 yards net passing versus 124 for the Dallas Cowboys net passing. So over the overall yardage difference, 318 to 264. Not a giant amount. We're not talking about 364 to 280, 264, but enough to converse about and say, hey, what happened? I always say this: close statistical numbers yield close scores. But in this instance, generally you say the team that eked out a little bit more in yards wins, right? But not really. There's a kind of a range. And within that range, you can either be the winner or the loser. In this instance, the Cowboys were the winner because they were the most efficient at scoring. At one point, they were up 17-9 before the Vikings figured out how to get in the end zone to make it close, and they were they being the Vikings, 2-point conversion away from tying the game and throwing the whole kit and caboodle into overtime. But it didn't happen. The Dallas Cowboys know how to win under Dak Prescott. They're 11-1. Stay tuned.